try to compromise now with Republicans on a plan to raise taxes. But remember, a majority of Republicans pledged to never support a tax hike, signing an agreement with anti-tax advocate Grover Norquist. And Grover Norquist is my guest this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So what does this do to the plan or the pledge that many Republicans signed with you?
Well, to start with, nobody signed any pledge with me. The pledge is to the American people. Americans for Tax Reform, my organization, shares it with all candidates, Republicans and Democrats. But the pledge is to the American people and to the people of their district. We have twice now had an argument with Obama about his interest in raising taxes to cover his overspending. The challenge is, the problem we have is the last 4 years of massive overspending. Raising taxes doesn't solve the overspending problem. It's a distraction. We ought to be looking at undoing the damage of the last 4 years and reining in spending.
But we know that's not going to happen. But we know that's not going to happen now because President Obama won re-election, and so to a certain degree, he's holding the edge going into this discussion right now. You have the Speaker of the House coming out, John Boehner, almost immediately saying that he's generally, supportive of trying to close some of these loopholes. Do you see that then as raising taxes?
Well, what Boehner said, and it's the Republican position since Reagan, is that we should reduce rates to have economic growth and eliminate deductions and credits, many of which were put in by Obama for the Solyndra-type green energy programs. So yes, let's get rid of unnecessary deductions and credits. Let's bring the rates down. Boehner was very clear he wants to increase revenues. So do all of us who want economic growth. It's not a tax increase to put more Americans at work. If our recovery was growing as well as Reagan's did, there'd be 10 million more Americans at work. We need to go back towards Reagan lower marginal tax rates and grow the economy. In terms of raising revenue, which Boehner talked about, if you grew the economy at 4% a year, Reagan levels, instead of 2% a year, Obama levels and the French levels for the last 2 decades, just growing faster, 4% rather than 2%. Do that for a decade. The federal government actually gets $5 trillion in higher taxes. We could undo the damage of Obama's overspending by having higher growth.
And that's the difference in ideology about how you actually get to that point. Here's President Obama's tax plan. Raise the tax rate to 36.9% on those making more than $250,000 a year. Replace the alternative minimum tax with the Buffett rule. Raise the top rate on estate tax from 35% to 55%, and raise tax rate for long-term capital gains from 15 to 20. Where do you think that those 4 points will go in negotiations with the Republicans?
Well, as Mr. Boehner said, the one thing that he's not willing to give up on is maintaining the 35% top rate. Obama wants not 36.9, but 39.6%. It's a rather significant increase. Plus, he adds his Obamacare tax increase, which is another 3.8%. So he actually takes the tax rate on half of all small business earnings in this country, okay? Half of all small business earnings in the country fall into his higher tax rate of almost 44%, up from 35%. That's a body blow to small businesses. Obama doesn't care because they're not unionized. They don't help him out. We need to protect the country from that damage while we focus on what really matters, which is reducing spending. The president got himself reelected by 2 percentage points, down from 7 4 years ago when he was running against a war hero. The Republican House just got itself reelected, running on the Ryan plan, which actually reduces spending $6 trillion over the next decade, brings the budget into balance, and reduces taxes. The Republicans have a plan. The president doesn't have a plan written down that even comes close to balancing the budget.
Yep, but he was reelected, and so it'll be interesting to see where this goes when the discussions start 6 weeks before the fiscal cliff.
He was reelected not to be Romney.
Okay, Grover Norquist, great to see you this morning. Thanks so much.
Good to see you.